So, GPT-5 is officially out in the wild. And, well, the tech world is kind of losing its mind. You've got some people calling it the biggest leap in AI ever. But behind all the headlines and the super flashy demos, what's the real story? Are we actually looking at a revolution here? Or is this just the most sophisticated hype machine we've ever seen? I mean, you see quotes like this one from Fireship. The human intelligence monopoly officially ended. Whoa, that's not just saying it's a good upgrade. That's a claim that the entire world fundamentally changed on a specific day. That's the level of expectation we are dealing with. But, for every one of those jaw-dropping claims, there's a skeptical voice in the background asking, is this really it? Or are we just watching a pretty good upgrade get some world-class marketing? Let's try and separate the hype from the actual reality. Okay, so to figure out what's real and what's not, we have to pop the hood and see what's going on. And the biggest change here isn't just about making it bigger. It's a totally new design for how the whole system works. So probably the most important change, like Skill Leap AI pointed out, is just how much simpler it is. Before, you kind of had this messy toolbox of different models. You had to pick the right one for the job. Now, it's all just one unified system. Think of it like a smart traffic cop for AI. It looks at your request and just automatically sends it to the right internal tool. You don't have to think about it anymore. It just works.
And this new approach makes something possible that folks are calling agentic AI. Now, instead of an AI that just responds to what you ask, this is an AI that can actually act for you. It can plan and carry out complex, multi-step tasks all by itself. So you could say, hey, plan me a trip, and it might actually go research the flights, compare the hotels, and get everything ready for you to just click book. And it's getting shockingly good at this stuff. This new agentic power has led to some demos that are, well, they're frankly stunning. These demos are the source of all the hype, so let's just take a look at a few of the ones that really blew up the internet. Okay, get this. The channel AI search prompted it to build a clone of Photoshop. And it just did it. A working app with layers, tools, filters, the whole shebang, all from one sentence. The tester's reaction really says it all. Holy smokes, everything just works out of the box. And it's not just for work. The same channel asked it for a 3D cyberpunk racing game. A few moments later, it spit out a playable game with speed boosts and collision physics. The unbelievable part is that it did this from a single request. There was no back and forth, no debugging. It just built it. But the wow factor isn't only visual stuff. Skill Leap AI gave it a really complex business problem, and it came back with 3 totally realistic strategies. But they noticed something else, something more subtle. The writing just felt more human. You know those weird random M-dashes that made older AIs feel so robotic? Yeah, those are almost completely gone. And for the science and engineering crowd, the progress is just as mind-blowing. It built this interactive fluid dynamic simulation from a single prompt. You can actually play with the physics, changing things like viscosity and diffusion in real time. So it's not just spitting out facts anymore. It's showing it understands scientific principles. Okay, so those demos are incredible, right? But making perfect little apps in a bubble is one thing. How does GPT-5 actually hold up under, a bit more scrutiny? This is where the hype starts to meet a much more complicated reality. As Fireship hilariously pointed out, one of the biggest reality checks came from OpenAI themselves. In their own launch announcement, the charts they used to prove GPT-5's superior intelligence had a bad y-axis. I mean, it's a really basic rookie mistake in data viz, which is kind of an embarrassing look when you're trying to sell a PhD-level AI. And if you look at the competition, it's not a clean sweep for GPT-5. On a huge coding benchmark, it does take the top spot, but just barely. Then, on other really hard tests, like this one called Humanity's Last Exam, a competitor actually beats it. So yeah, it's at the top of the pack, but it is not dominating every single category. And in a real-world coding test, Fireship found another little crack in the armor. They asked it to build an app with a new framework. And the code it wrote looked perfect. It was beautiful, but it was syntactically wrong. It crashed the server.
The AI had basically hallucinated its own version of the code. Now, it did fix the mistake when it was told about it, but it proves it's not some flawless programmer. Not yet. But, and this is a really important but, we have to add some context here. While it still makes mistakes, they've made enormous progress in cutting down on those errors, or hallucinations, where it really, really matters. This data shows that for critical questions about health, the hallucination rate has dropped from 15% in the last model all the way down to just 1.6%. That is a dramatic improvement in reliability. So, after weighing the incredible demos against the real-world screw-ups, where do we land? Is GPT-5 the game changer everyone says it is? Well, the answer seems to be, it depends on who you are. If you're an everyday user, this is a massive leap. This simple interface, the more human answers, it's just an amazing tool for writing and brainstorming. If you're a programmer, it's a much, much smarter coding partner that can build some incredible things. But, as we saw, it's a partner that still needs you to supervise it. You can't just trust it blindly. So let's just boil it all down. On the reality side of the scale, what we have is a simpler, much more powerful tool. It has stunning creative abilities and makes far fewer mistakes in really important areas. But on the hype side, we have to admit, it's not a perfect coder. It doesn't win every single competition, and no, this is not superintelligence. Not yet, anyway. You know, maybe the biggest takeaway here is simply the speed of all this. It feels like the title of world's best AI model changes hands every few weeks now. GPT-5 is the champ today, but the cycle is only getting faster and faster, which really leaves us with one pretty exciting question. What on earth are we going to be explaining this time next year?